Welcome to the story of the Elder Scrolls V Skyrim. Like you've never heard it before. This story isn't told by the one Dragonborn that masters all, but told to you through the eyes of many different characters. From the good and the bad and those in between. From soldiers on both sides of the Civil War. From warriors seeking honor. To mages seeking great power. To thieves seeking to get wealthy. To assassins seeking fear. And those who are cursed children of the night seeking justice. And those who were simply in the wrong place at the right time. Welcome to the story of the Elder Scrolls Skyrim, told to you by all of us that take part in it. We hope you enjoy. If you like these stories, chuck us a subscribe and your credit card number.
Oh, come on now, that's not in the script. Hope you guys enjoy. Have a good one.
Chapter 30. Debauchery. A few months had passed since last I walked the roads of Tamriel. The last time I was on the roads, I ended up in oblivion, in the Shivering Isles. I ended up surviving that, and also might have found out that the Holy Crusader, the champion of Cyrodiil, was Sheogorath himself. But since then, I've done my duties as Arch Mage. I've helped train apprentices. I've taken in more students. I've discovered knowledge. But I feel that I wish to travel the roads once more. But this time I'll try and do some work for one of the professors. I had a plan when I left Alinor, to travel the world and explore lost secrets of those long gone. I made my way through Hammerfell and High Rock. When I got to Skyrim, I was planning of discovering her ancient secrets, then bunker down in the college for winter learning new magics. Then when I was done with Skyrim, head east into Morrowind. But life had another plan for me. I ended up saving the college and probably all of Tamriel. I was made the Archmage by the Sigic Order, and I've come to call the college home. But since I live here now, I still have that fire within to explore Skyrim. It might take 2 decades before I'm done with Skyrim, then I can move on to Morrowind. Tomorrow I'll head out and search for Shalador's writings for Urag Groshub. He's told me that Shalador's writings might be in a Nordic ruin called Vollenrud, located in the Whiterun hold. I visited when I first arrived in Skyrim. The city of Whiterun has been through much since I last visited. Time to get ready to leave. I've had this new armor made for me. It came all the way from High Rock. It will keep me warm and protected on the roads. The armor came with a great sword. I think they believed the new Archmage was a Nord. No matter, I'll find a use for it later. But I will say, this armor is stylish while being very practical for a battle mage. Back to the roads. There's nothing more freeing than the roads of Tamriel. Tolfdir will look after the place while I'm gone. Plus, learning more about one of the greatest mages alive seems like a lot of fun. Winterhold might be freezing, but there's a beauty to the place. Nobody comes here because they believe it to be dead. But where else can you find a place like this in Tamriel? I wasn't born when Winterhold fell into the sea, but even the Altmer of Alinor would praise Winterhold for its contribution to magic. The Nords speak of their mighty ancestors like Ysgramor, who led the Atmoran people to Skyrim and took her from the elves, or Talos, a man who conquered Tamriel and became the first emperor of Tamriel, then became a god, some would say. But you don't hear the Nords singing praise for Shalador, all because it's something to do with magic. The Nords carry on that magic is weak, and there's no honor in it. But the thing is, if an army of Nords came at me with steel, I could wipe the floor with them, with just my fingers. I always let the fort know who I am. I don't need them thinking I'm some Thalmor. The Imperials don't give me much of a hassle, but the Stormcloaks like to chuck a fuss about me. Past the fort, I heard what sounded like a big bug. There I saw people walking around a cage, wearing familiar armor. It looked like the armor of the Oriel and Mazkin, the Daedra servants of Sheogorath. Why would his minions be in Skyrim? That bug, it was the Elytra nymph from the Dementia side of the Isles. Why is it here on Tamriel? And those aren't saints or seducers, just people wearing their armor. What in oblivion? They were bandits, with Daedric armor and weapons. How did this happen? Last thing we need are bandits with Mazkin gear. It seemed friendly enough. All of them in the Isles were hostile. Might have it tag along and be something for the college to study. The Bandits' Journal said they had a base further down the road. I better go and clear it out. We don't need bandits with Daedric goodies on the roads. Before I arrived, the camp was under attack by the undead. They did most of the work for me. We all have a duty to clean the roads of both the bad and the evil of Skyrim. Now back to the quest at hand. Shalador's writings. I think I might go and stay the night in Whiterun. I do love getting on the ale with the Nords, if they don't side-eye me and treat me like a Thalmor. I'm here. Might leave the bug outside with my pack. Get in, burn out the dead, and search for these writings. I knew it. The dead hiding in plain sight. This place looks like it's been explored rather recently. A locked puzzle door that someone has unlocked. Somebody has been here. Saved me some work killing the undead to find the keys. I found Shalador's writings. Urag Groshub will be pleased. And another one of these ancient Nord Dragonclaw walls. Whenever I see these, they give me a feeling they will be of great use one day, but I don't know why. It's getting a little late. Better get my pack and the bug and head into Whiterun for the night. Wonder how the city has fared since last I was there. Hopefully there's not too much damage after the Battle of Whiterun. But that was like 7 months ago. Should be good now. What a sight! The open plains of Whiterun, then a castle on a cliff. Nothing more majestic than that. They have surely improved the walls of Whiterun. Last I was here, they were all crumbling from time. Ah, Whiterun, a place with room to breathe and think. Such a freeing city. I should visit more often.
Sure thing. It's yours for a day.
It's pretty quiet now. Better get warmed up. So I'm ready for the Nords and their love of drinking. See how these young Nords go drinking against a 72-year-old elf. I felt a sudden cold presence in the room, like I was being watched by hungry eyes. It was that woman. She was a vampire, waiting for the night to fall across Skyrim. Later, when night came, I met a rather beautiful Nord halfling. Her father was one of my kind, a high elf. She was so beautiful. Us Altmer and the Nords make some beautiful babies. As the night went on, more people started to enter the inn, but they were cautious of me, the fear that I was an elf. I only wish the Nords knew how much I loved their people and their home, for it's now my home. I wandered upstairs to find what looked like a mage. Maybe this man will have a drink with an elf. Mages don't mind elves, after all.
You look like someone who can hold their liquor. How about a friendly contest to win a staff?
He offered me a competition for drinking, and the reward was a staff. He has no idea who he's dealing with. I've perfected my art of outdrinking men for around 50 years. The Nords do put up an amazing effort, but I've had the time to perfect my art.
If you're looking for a challenge, you've come to the right place. Ha! We'll see about that. This is a special brew. Very strong stuff. Let's get started. I'll start round one. Down the hatch. Your turn. One down, my friend.
It tasted divine, like no other wine I had ever tasted. It was like I was drinking wine from Aetherius. I couldn't stop myself. It tasted so good, like it was a wine perfected for over thousands of years. I felt so wild. All of a sudden we were naked, having the most amazing sex I've ever had. This Breton really knew how to please a woman, like he had mastered the art over an age. He did things to my body I didn't think possible. He knew how to move me, how to control me. I've never felt that good in my entire life. How was this even possible?
That's right. It's time to wake up, you drunken blasphemer. Yes, your head hurts and you don't remember where you are. I'm guessing you also don't remember coming in here and blathering incoherently about marriage or a goat. Which means you don't remember losing your temper and throwing trash all over the temple. Debella teaches love and compassion, but that doesn't mean we're just going to tell you what you want to know and let you walk away from this. Pick up your mess, then apologize. And if we think you're sincere, we'll consider lending you aid.
Oh, what in oblivion happened? Last thing I remember is being naked. Where was I? Why does my head feel like a minotaur rammed me? A letter from Sam. That's that man I was with last night. What were we trying to do? How in oblivion did I end up in Markarth in the Temple of Debella? Why can't I remember anything past my cheeks being spread? It couldn't have been that good. Maybe it was the wine? That was way too good. It feels like a Daedric prince took control of my body and had a wild time with it last night.
I suppose that'll do. Debella teaches us forgiveness after all. Even for a drunk like you. You were ranting when you got here, but most of it was slurred. You did say something about Rorikstead. Maybe you should take a look there.
Well, it's on the way back to Whiterun, but I've got nothing on me. Just my pants and bra, thankfully. I don't even feel like I could muster magic feeling like this. Have to be thankful, at least my breasts are covered. It's a long walk back in the cold. I really hope I don't have any forsworn trouble. I'm too sick for any of that. Have to find out what happened in Rorikstead, then head back to Whiterun and get my gear. Just need to get out of the Reach and all this stone. It's an amazing city, but I don't miss the place at all. There's only so much stone a girl can deal with. Would have taken the carriage if I had any gold on me. Maybe the fresh air might make me feel better, or worse. Depends on the annoyances on the road. I just really hope the Forsworn aren't out. Such an annoying group to fight, with their use of arrows and magic. And I feel depleted, like I can't cast powerful spells or have enough magicka to sustain a long fight. I made it into Rorikstead in one piece. A few corpses and bandits on the road, easy enough to deal with or scare off. So that priestess mentioned a goat, and this has a goat farm here, yes? I might try and get some answers there about what went on last night. Gods, I feel horrible and I smell. I really need a warm bath and some sleep. I found the house of this farmer who had goats in the field. I'll start here.
You've got a lot of nerve showing yourself in this town again. What do you have to say for yourself? Is that so? Does the name Gleda ring a bell? The star beauty of my farm? Kidnapped by a drunk lout and sold to a giant? You better remember her right fast before I call the guards and have you hauled away. You're damn right it does. I'll never breed another prize-winning goat like Gleda. And don't you think of coming back to Rorikstead until you get her back from that giant.
For the love of Oriel, I stole a goat and sold it to a giant. What in the Deadlands did I get up to last night? This farmer won't tell me nothing unless I get his goat back from the giant. Looks like I'm going to need some of my magic. There's his goat, and the giant. I'm pretty sure this giant isn't going to be happy in breaking whatever deal I made last night. So I'm going to need to light this big guy up to get the information I need. I've got the goat, but this goat has some bell around its neck. That's the last thing I need to listen to on the way back. The ramblings of a goat and a ding-dongs. Haven't I suffered enough?
Gleda, I'm not a scratch on her. Happy day. I still can't figure out why you stole her. You left a note explaining it, but half of it was gibberish and the rest had mead spilled on it. Only bit I could make out was repaying Isolde in Whiterun, and even that's mostly scribbles. Guess you could try there. Until next time.
Back to Whiterun where it all started. Hopefully my gear is still there. And my gold. I'll find out about this debt. Then I'm sleeping for a week. Whiterun wasn't far, so I decided to run back. Spent whatever energy I had left. Gods, I feel like Molag's back end.
So, you're finally back. Look, I've been patient, but you still owe me. Oh, what's wrong? Did the engagement fall through? Look, how about we call even, as long as you bring back the wedding ring? That's really a shame. I was so looking forward to the wedding. You said you'd have all the most interesting guests. You went right out to give it to your fiancée. Don't you even remember where you left her? And after you told me that sweet story of how you met in Witchmist Grove, I can see why she left you.
I was to be married. I hope she was a looker. I'll check this all out whenever I wake. If I wake. Everything but my weapons were here. Damn it. They were some fine blades. I need to take a bath. I feel disgusting. Then rest. I don't know how long I slept for, but I feel so good. I really needed that. Now I need to get ready for Witchmist, and find this woman I was going to marry. Find this ring and get it back to Isolde, so she can tell me where I was before all this. I'm feeling better, should be able to use more magic now. Gods, I needed that rest. Witchmist is in Eastmarch, should be more than a few hours' walk. I like the rain, the smell of it and the noise it makes on the roof. Simply bliss. I'm close now, just over the volcanic tundra and into the woods. Came across some warlocks. Had to put them down. They give us mages a bad name. Mages that think they're gods because of their magic. I better go send them to the gods. Still a little weary. That wine was something else. I'm never drinking again. You have to be kidding me. Please, for the love of Mara, please tell me that's not her, and if it is, that we didn't do the deed.
Darling, I've been waiting for you to return, to consummate our love.
Oh, thank the gods we didn't mess around, I hope.
What? You want it for that hussy Esmeralda with the dark feathers, don't you? I won't let her have you.
I really need to never touch another drink ever again if I'm getting into this sort of trouble. Well, at least nobody knows. I'd never be able to live this one down if people found out I almost married a hag raven.
Excellent. Sorry it didn't work out. I know how excited you were for the wedding. You kept saying it would be a huge ceremony at Morvenskar. You said you even had some magic staff that would handle all of the guests.
Well, after giving the ring back, Isolde told me about Morvenskar. So I had to go back into Eastmarch, a light walk from Windhelm. The place was full of warlocks, and that's not a fight I think I could pull off alone while feeling weakened. So I might call in some help from some old friends. Had one of those strange, almost naked women help out, and an army of Oriels. I don't even need to lift a blade anymore. I could just call an army from Oblivion to fight my battles for me. I know it's lazy, but I'm not in the best of shape right now, so I'll just have them be my weapons and meat shields. Someone there? See you burn! Sometimes you have to do things yourself, but there's plenty more Oriels to spare. Some portal opened in front of me. I wonder where this one will take me. Did this Sam open this portal? This place looked beautiful, but I definitely wasn't in Tamriel anymore. Best guess was I was in a pocket realm, or a realm of oblivion. I guess I'll just follow the path and it will take me to where I need to go. A table with wine and ale, and what looked like that fellow from the tavern last night.
You're here. I was beginning to think you might not make it. I thought you might not remember your first trip here. You had a big night. I think you've definitely earned the staff. Oh, the Hagraven feather and so on. You can throw all those out. You see, I really just needed something to encourage you to go out into the world and spread merriment. What are you staring at? Just a prank? Just a prank? The Daedric Lord of Debauchery does not deal in mere pranks. This may have begun as a minor amusement, but it wasn't long before I realized you'd make a more interesting bearer of my not-quite-holy staff. Let's be honest here. I don't always think my decisions through, but you're going places. Maybe a little influence from your old Uncle Sanguine could help adjust your course a bit. My pleasure, but I think it's time for you to go. No fun keeping you locked up in here with the staff.
Son of a Boethia, that was the Daedric Prince of Debauchery. No wonder the wine was so good. No wonder he knew how to please a woman. I let a Daedric Prince inside of me. That's a story to not tell the grandchildren if I have any. At least my weapons returned, and I got this artifact from Sanguine. Damn, I've done some crazy stuff in Skyrim. This place really brings out the wild in a girl. I'm going back to Winterhold, and I think I'm going to stay there for a while. I keep getting into some crazy stuff when I travel. Might do me some good to just stay put for a while. I slept on the way back to Winterhold. When we arrived, it was morning. Gods, I'm happy to be back here. How in oblivion do I answer questions for having this sanguine rose? Ah, it was nothing much. Just spread my legs for a Daedric Prince, got really drunk, trashed a temple, sold a goat to a giant, and almost married a hag raven. Nothing out of the ordinary. I think I might just go with I was offered a drinking contest with Sanguine and survived. That's a better story to go with. I really have to lay off the drinking. I do some crazy stuff.
Hey guys, welcome to another outro. Now, I just want to say, I really hope people actually enjoy Minerva's story because she's such a unique character. She's not your typical high elf. High elves you kind of imagine to be very upstart, prominent, up themselves, very fancy, elegant elves. But Minerva's nothing of the such. She's not up herself. She is in a regard of her magical power. She knows she's very strong. But she loves the other races of Tamriel. I kind of see her as like the High Queen in ESO, where she wants to more lead with other people. She doesn't want to control them and enslave them. She wants to lead them into a better future. And Minerva's like, she doesn't want any of that. She just wants to live and enjoy her life and get to explore the other cultures of other countries. You know, she's a philosopher. She's an archaeologist. She's an explorer. She's quite an intellectual, and you know, she explores the lands of the ancients, you know, the ruins of ancient civilizations and old tombs, but she also wants to learn, you know, the culture of the living. And the Nords are very cultural when it comes to alcohol, honor, battles, and just being a merry band of companions. You know, the Nords are very companion-like, very stick-together, very honorable, and love their drink and love their battles and love their songs, and she loves that. And she wants to explore their culture. And she's, you know, at the current time, when I first started her character, she had a plan, and that was to travel around and town to town and ruin to ruin and tomb to tomb before the winter came, and you know, when it freezes over, go into college, and once it started, you know, thawing out, she would return to the roads and place by place, you know, reach Whiterun, and eventually explore as she could, then go into Morrowind. But that changed because certain events at the college. Her plan changed, and she's got a new plan, and that's spend 20 years in Skyrim exploring what she can. before she moves on to Morrowind and passes a gauntlet of Arch Mage onto somebody else, and that plan could definitely well change. I've got like a plan for Minerva, like at the very end of the story, that she won't just simply die off the next Elder Scrolls game, depending on how far away it is, but she'll be introduced into the the Sigil Order, because they've met her, and they promoted her to Archmage, and she's a very powerful wizard in my game, so she's very worthy of joining the the Sigil Order, because she's very noble of heart and wants the best out of the world. But that's for another story. Like I said, she's not your typical elf. She loves to get on the drinks with the Nords, loves to party, loves to blend into their culture. She's got that sort of camouflaged heart where she can sort of mold it to the land she's in. And I sort of like about her, you know, like she's an intellectual, she's very smart, she's very practical, you know, when she goes into battle she relies on her magic, because it is, you know, her powerfulest asset, but she also goes in prepared. You know, she's got a blade, she's got a sword in case the magic fails her, and in case she drops a sword, she's got a dagger on her other hip, which she can use to defend herself. She's not silly, you know, and the armor is beautiful. Like I said before, man, I love this armor. It's very practical. Like the fingertips are kind of exposed, so you can shoot magic out. It's protected. You've got, you know, shoulder plating, sort of just plating over your body where it's needed, and it's not, you know, you're not wearing full plate armor. You know, she's wearing like a leather-enforced chest, you know, to bounce off magic and all that sort of things. But I don't know, it's very practical. It's just 100% breeds College Battle Mage Explorer, and I love this armor. Now this chapter is called Debauchery, so I've got a little bit naughty with it. I don't know if it's a little too naughty, to be honest with you. Like, it's called Debauchery, and Debauchery is kind of like the naughty side of, like, you know, drinking and sex and playing up and being quite naughty. And, you know, like, I don't know if I went too naughty with this, especially for YouTube. Like, I don't show any sort of genitals. I don't want to do that, because I'm not making porn. I'm making a story, and sex is always part of a story, you know, a mature story with, you know, one made to be, you know, looked at by adults. And, you know, so I thought I'd go a little bit naughty on this side of the spectrum, and she's a naughty character. She loves to mess around. She's, like I said, not your typical elf. She likes both the company of women and men, and, you know, she's not really looking for companionship because she's on a sort of journey where she does her own thing. And, you know, sort of like a lover for a week here and there, and does her own thing. She's very freeing. She's, you know, the roads give her freedom. She's kind of a nomad that's kind of, you know, in the college right now, because, you know, she got a sentimental value to it for helping save the world and all the stuff. And plus, it gives her a permanent home, to a base to kind of travel around Skyrim when she wants to leave and go out and explore. And that's what I really like about her. So yeah, she's just a very unique character, and I hope more people actually enjoy Minerva, because she's one of my favourites. Because I play a warrior, right? I'm a sword and shield dude. That's what I am. And I don't really like magic, but being able to play magic on the side with a multiple character playthrough story is awesome, because I still have my sword and shield smack you in the face and cut your head off, but then I have the fiery fingertips, and then of course the practical side of being a battle mage, a nomad exploring mage that travels the roads and visits ruins, and that's what I really like about her. She's not your just typical wear robes and shoot magic, because that to me is very boring. I don't really like that sort of playthrough. You know, Skyrim is an adventuring game, like most Bethesda games. You need to hit the roads, and you hit the ruins. And you got to look the part to feel like you're actually in the world. Like, you know, I feel 100% like a battle mage of her. She's got a blade on her right hip. She's got a dagger on her left hip, normally. Yep. And she's got a backpack and gear that keeps her warm, protected, and also agile and magical worthy, because the fingertips are exposed, you know, to shoot at magic. So this is the kind of character that I really love. You know, I'm very proud of this magical character, because I don't know, I just rattle on for ages. I'm talking about her because she's, you know, a unique breed. She's not racist. She, you know, she doesn't see races as strength, this and that. Like, she does, but she sees them for their pros. She knows the High Elves are good for magic, but they're very arrogant. She knows the Nords are very strong and survivable, but they're very stubborn, and all that sort of stuff. You know, she knows, but she doesn't look down on a Nord and think, oh, you're going to live for, you know, a couple of years and then you're dead. She doesn't see that. She sees them for their strengths, and she loves that. And she loves that they like to be a little bit looser, and, you know, everywhere else in High Rock and Hammerfell, they're a bit more nobility-like, where they won't let themselves go a little bit. Where Minerva will. And you know, she likes the Nords for that, because they're a bit of a loose bunch. They don't really care what you think. They just want to sit there and have some fun with their friends, have a few drinks, have a few fights, sing about battles, and she likes that. But unfortunately, she's a high elf, and elves in Skyrim are kind of rare, and Nords don't have a big liking for any sort of elf. And she's kind of side-eyed quite a bit because of her race and because she could be a Thalmor, you know. It's a bit like the Muslim sort of thing way back in the day, probably even still to this day, where like after the Twin Towers, you saw a Muslim, you instantly thought of a terrorist. So the Nords have like a fear of elves because they could be bad elves, and most of them in their eyes that they've seen and heard of are. They haven't actually met good elves or heard stories about good elves, because I'm pretty fucking sure, man, there's thousands of millions of Muslims that just want to live their lives and worship their gods, you know, worship their God, worship Allah and peace and all that sort of stuff, yeah. So yeah, this is where it gets a bit naughty, and I don't know how YouTube will deal with this. I didn't show any genitals, but it was kind of close to gapping and it was blurry, and that's the whole point of that. You know, I don't want to listen to porn. This ain't for that. This is for a story. But again, I did decide to go a little bit extra naughty with this one because it is called Debauchery. And Samwise, you know, I called him Samwise, but Sam Gwenvian, or whatever it is, the whole Breton name he went with. The Daedric Lord Debauchery is actually a Daedric Lord of parties and festivals and self-indulging in too much good stuff. Not a perfect prince, not a super powerful one, not considered evil, but he does kind of enslave mortals with contracts unknowingly, where they got to party with him forever, or they get too indulged and they stay for too long and they die. But that's kind of the thing with him, that, you know, this is a bad part about him, that, you know, some mortals die at his parties because they just can't leave, because they either signed a contract where they can't leave, or they get too drunk and they just forget to eat and drink. But he's actually the Daedric prince of like I think what it's called, like unnatural sexual relations. So he's probably into incest, animal stuff, and probably the really dark shit, you know, when it comes down to, because Morlig Ball, he's a rape of domination. Like, rape's pretty fucking dark, and that's also probably a unnatural sexual. I don't know if it's unnatural or it's just like he's into like weird shit like family members and animals and stuff like that, or I don't know, but he's into weird shit. And the reason you actually trash the temple in Debella, because the House of Debella and the church, or the temples of Mara, are actually his enemy. So that's why you're here. And you've been sent by Sam or Sanguine to destroy or to, you know, disrespect one of his enemies. But yeah, she's had a wild time, and I really enjoyed this chapter because I was able to show a bit more of her carnal side, which is kind of what you want. But anyway, I hope you guys have enjoyed. I'm going to stop talking now, or I'll go on forever. And if you haven't checked out many Minerva stories, I suggest you check it out, because I do have a little playlist there. I haven't done them all yet, but she's got a little playlist from like her chapters only. If you want to jump into her stories and kind of meet the character. Plus, I'm going to mention this real quick. I actually use the NPC Minerva that was made a follower mod, because as an NPC, she will heal the Dragonborn later on when she's actually an NPC follower for the Dragonborn. And that's why I made her my playable character. I did change her appearance, obviously, but she is the Minerva from that follower mod that's now on the SE Nexus, finally, and all that sort of good stuff. So she's actually quite useful, and as a side character, because when she's a follower, she'll heal me, because I don't have any followers that do that. I don't know how to do that myself. But anyway, I'm out of here. Have a good one. Catch you later. And if you've got any questions or anything like that, let me know, because if you guys actually comment and like this stuff, apparently it goes to the algorithm and makes it see more people. Probably don't want this one being seen by that many people, to be honest with you, because I don't want someone crack the shits that she's getting doggy styled. Anyway, have a good one. Catches later. And yeah, look out yourselves.